So welcome back to another tutorial brought to you by the Learn It channel. This particular tutorial was made in response to a user request. He says the following: I want to connect these two tubes together. I've tried using revolve, sweep, loft, not sure the best way to go about it. Any ideas? So he's talking about connecting this feature to this feature using a sweep or loft or anything possible in order to connect those together. So this is the problem. We have a solution. Let's go here. So this is exactly what we'd like to connect the two together. And in this case, we've actually used the sweep command. So how do we go about it? Well, first of all, let's just go back to the problem really quick and let's just talk about this arc right here. If we go to the sketch, you can see that the arc that the user used is not tangent to the center points of either of these. Now let's just go into our sketch. Here we have it. In order to make it tangent, we can't use the perpendicular command. We can't use perpendicular with a curve, but basically tangency is the exact same thing. We want the endpoint of our curve here to be perfectly in line with a center point. So let's just do that. Let's just create a couple center points right here. And we're going to press X, select them, press X, turn them into construction lines. Now let's make it tangent. So we're going to click that line and click that. Now, here is the problem. You can see that this part of the curve is tangent to this center line over here, but in no way is it possible in order to connect this side of the arc to be tangent with this part of the line. Now we could move this feature over so that they're both tangent, so it's perfect, but that is pretty tedious to do that. So I'm going to show you a better way to do it. Again, we've got the solution right here. It's looking great. Let's go to our tutorial feature over here and get started. So let's create a sketch first of all on this face. And you might notice right away that we have our cutouts over here exactly in line with our x-axis. So in order to create our tube, as he calls it, off to the side here, perfectly in line with the two. This is so easy if we know how to do it. What I'm going to do is in the sketch on that face, I'm going to press P to project and just select that outside arc and go OK. Now what do we have? We've got ourselves a midpoint. And if we hover our mouse over there, we should see the midpoint constraint. Boom, that's right at the midpoint now. Now what we can do is create a line, and let's just create it off into space over here. And we are going to use our coincident constraint and constrain those two together. Let's turn this into a construction line by pressing X. Now let's create our circle here. And we're going to specify a dimension by pressing D. And I don't know what this is on his particular part, so we're just going to call it, let's call it 125. Let's just call it 0.1. There we go. Okay. And then the other one, yeah, we can create an inside circle as well. Let's call it 50 thou. There we go. And on the outside over here, remember, we don't want to make this circle tangent to that. We could, but the problem is that in real life, to 3D print this or to do whatever, to have an absolute minimum space over here, remember that's going to be a minimum space there of when it's tangent, there's actually no material for it to hold on. So we want it to be inset a little bit. Let's do that. We're just going to erase that circle. And now what we can do is let's use the offset tool. And we're going to offset this in however much we want to offset it. Let's call it, I don't know, 25 thou. And now we can create ourselves a circle. And let's make it tangent to that. And then we can make these two circles the same. I'm just going to click on this dimension here, and those two circles will be exactly the same. Let's do the same thing with the inside one. I'm going to press D for that and click on our other small circle over there. Now those are both exactly the same. And remember, we can change this one over here. Yeah, let's change that to 0.5, and you can see both of them will update automatically. I'm going to go back down 0.125, and you can see that both these dimensions will change automatically, which is really, really sweet. And there we go. Okay, so now that we've got those in position, let's extrude them. So I'm going to go here to extrude. Let's take these two features right there, or those profiles, I should say, and we're going to go to an object. I'm going to select the bottom over here, and we're going to join them together. Now our sketch disappears. We need to bring it back to life. There we go. There we go. We find it in our browser and make it visible. And then we can extend this profile however long we want. We can extrude it. There we go. We can hide our sketch now. And we've got both of our tubes here, as he says, waiting to be connected. Now, again, we're going to go to the top view and we can recognize here that they're not in line with the x-axis. Now, this would have been very easy if we would have created on the x-axis, but I did this on purpose in order to show you how easy it is to create a sketch in between these two elements perfectly in line with the center point. We're going to go to the Construct drop-down menu, and we're going to go to Axis Through Cylinder and pick that one. Okay, right-click to go back to our shortcut. We're going to do another Axis Through Cylinder right there. And now we can go back to Construct, drop down, Plane Through Two Edges. We've got two edges here that we can pick, or our axes, and there we have it. Now we have ourselves a plane that we can create a sketch on. So let's create a sketch, and there we have it. So you can see that our view cube is a little bit off in an angle, and that's to show that we are creating a sketch on this current construction plane right now. Now let's create our center points over here. We're going to project that circle and this circle. We're going to go OK. And now let's just hide our axes here. And there we have it. So we're going to go just finish sketch for a moment. And let's hide our body. And there we have it right there. We can go back to our sketch. It will orient all the directions for us. And we're at our problem that we were at before. If we create some center lines here, and I'm just going to turn them into construction lines. Again, if we use an arc between those 2 points, we can make one tangent, but the other, it's impossible to make tangent. And we can even select tangency on our constraints and try and make a tangent constraint between those two, and it's not working for us. So I'm just going to delete that one over there. And again, we can change our radius over here. We can make this side tangent if we want, and it's not working for us. We need both of them tangent to make one fluid type of connection. So let's delete that, and instead let's go to Spline, Fit Point Spline. And what I'm going to do is just pick those two midpoints. That's it. Spline, we don't have to use multiple points. Let's just use two, and we'll use these control handles right now in order to create the shape that we want. Now let's apply a tangency constraint. We're going to pick that spline and our line. We're going to do the same thing over here. Pick the spline, pick our line, and now what do we have? Well, we've got a little bit of a strange shape, but we can adjust those control rods in order to create something that we like. And again, if you want a little bit taller, you can go taller if you want. If you want it shorter, you can go shorter. You can do whatever you want here. There we go. I don't know. I think this looks probably pretty even right there. Maybe, yeah, there we go. And again, we can have a little bit more control. Hold down Command or Control on a Mac or Windows computer, and that won't snap to the grid. And we can do a fine control with our control rods there, or handles. There we go. I like that. Finish sketch. Now we've got ourselves a pathway for our sweep command. So now I'm going to go to Sweep. It's asking for the profile. So let's pick our profile there and our path. And would you look at it? We're going to go Join. We've got ourselves a really nice connection right there. And again, if we want to create an analysis along, or at the center, cutting that in half, I should say, let's go Section Analysis, and we can pick our plane, and it will pick exactly right there in our motion. And of course, this we want to cut out right there. We can do that as well. Let's just extrude that. We can pick that face right there, cut it through, and there we have it. So I hope that that has explained exactly what the user has been wanting. So if you have liked this tutorial, if you've benefited at all, please consider liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. Please put a comment down below of something that you've learned that you never knew before. We hope that you check out our other tutorials too. And thanks again for tuning in to the Learn It channel.